Let's face it, some cities are just wallet wreckers. Here's the top 10 US cities that give you the least bang for your buck. Got it? Get it? Good. Let's take a look. Number 10, Seattle, Washington. Welcome to the land of overpriced coffee and sky-high rents, where residents are somehow expected to afford rent and artisan pour-overs. Seattle offers the privilege of enduring constant drizzle while paying through the nose for just about everything. Property taxes are steep, and that tech boom everyone brags about, yeah, it really helped raise the price of just about everything from housing to your monthly grocery bill. Here, it's a miracle if you could find a house that doesn't have a homeless camp within walking distance. It's so expensive here, you'll think you're in New York City, just with better coffee. It's a city where affordable housing means you only pay half of your salary on rent. And if you think moving to the suburbs will help, think again. Seattle has inspired nearby towns to jack up their prices too. So what do you get for this? Well, you get an extremely large homeless population, traffic that raises your blood pressure, and neighbors that refuse to talk to you. The rent in Seattle is 79% above the national average. I'd give you the whole price what it is, but it changes so differently, depends on the neighborhood. It's just better if you, overall, it's about 79% above the national average. The average home value here is about $850,000. Number 9, San Diego. San Diego might have the beaches and the perfect weather, but don't let that fool you. It's not a paradise for your bank account. With some of the highest gas prices in the country, it's as if the sunshine comes with a premium. Property taxes and the cost of living are sky high, ensuring that you never get to enjoy those sunsets for free. The real estate market, let's just say you're going to be paying for that ocean breeze, even if it's only blowing through your cozy studio apartment that happens to be beneath two sumo wrestlers with a jump rope. Also, San Diego loves its fees. Like it really loves them. Parking fees, beach access fees, and good luck finding a cheap place to park near the free beach. The city might offer a really laid-back vibe, but paying for everything in sight will keep you on your toes. So what do you get for this high price? Well, they do have low crime, so we gotta give them that. For a major city, they're doing great when it comes to crime. Their overall crime rate's actually 3% lower than the national average. Bravo. But they got a ton of homeless and the crowds, especially during the summer. San Diego is a tourist town. After Vegas and New York City, I think it's one of the most touristy type towns there is. You could probably throw New Orleans in there too. But their rent is 87% above the national average, and their average home value is just a hair above $1 million. Number 8, Chicago, Illinois. The windy city where the only thing blowing away faster than the autumn leaves is your paycheck. Between sales tax that's nearly double digits and relentless property tax hikes, this place takes the idea of nickel and diming you to a whole new level. And if you're into fees, Chicago's got you covered with what they call an amusement tax, which means Netflix in Chicago costs more because, well, they can. Housing might seem a little less insane here than some coastal cities, but don't be fooled. Just when you think you've scored a decent rent, the utility bills remind you of sub-zero winters and pricey heating costs. Car owners have to deal with some of the most creative parking fees. That is, if you can even find a spot to park your car. So what do you get for your money? Well, you get some crime. It's not the worst in the country. It's only 58% above the national average. You get pretty harsh winters, and you get some brutal traffic. Their rent isn't terrible. It's 26% above the national average, and their average home value is only $294,000. Now, those aren't bad. Where they get you is all the parking fees, the taxes, the utilities are high. It almost reminds me of a cruise ship. They let you in for a pretty low price, but they're going to get you for everything once you're on. Number 7, Boston, Massachusetts. Home of chowder, Red Sox fans, and a surprising array of ways to drain your bank account. With rent prices that rival New York City, Boston makes sure you get the luxury of being cramped in a colonial-era building with no central air for an arm and a leg. Between high state income tax, fees on just about everything, and insane parking prices, Boston squeezes you out of every dime in true Puritan spirit. And don't think buying a place is any better. The real estate market here is so high it's entered orbit, with fixer-uppers going for millions. Even student housing has a price tag that'll make your head spin. Sure, you're near Harvard and MIT, but you'll need a full scholarship just to afford a place to live. So what do you get for your money here? Well, you get some serious winters, overpopulation, and traffic. Boston always shows up in the top 5 worst traffic in the United States. It's insane. The rent here is 88% above the national average, and the average home value is around $748,000. Number 6, Miami, Florida. Sunny Miami doesn't come cheap. Sure, there's no state income tax, but everything else is fair game to gouge your wallet. Rent prices are staggering, and even food prices seem to be designed for tourists who won't be there long enough to complain. Parking fees, sky-high insurance rates, and hurricane-proofing costs make Miami a budget buster for even the savviest resident. Then, of course, there's the real estate market. Miami seems to believe that everyone that's moving there is a billionaire looking for beachfront property. Even modest homes are astronomically priced, and if you want something in a decent neighborhood, get ready to shell out some serious cash. Miami's a case study on how to price residents out of paradise. So what do you get for that money? Well, you get hurricanes and tropical storms, brutal cost living. That's really what gets them on the list. It doesn't show in the rent or the housing as much, but the cost of living overall is brutal here. Rent is about 55% above the national average, and the average home value goes for about $581,000. They got a lot of neighborhoods that aren't great, so that's why their housing price is so low. Just about any decent neighborhood you want to move to, it's going to be over $800,000. Number 5, New York City. Living in the city that never sleeps comes with a price tag that never seems to stop growing. New York City hits the residents with city, state, and special taxes. So even if you could find a cheap slice of pizza, you'll probably end up paying a breathing tax or something. Rent here is a whole different animal. I've talked about it many times before, but some apartments that go for like $2,500 a month are about as big as the inside of a minivan. That's not much of an exaggeration. Real estate is almost comically expensive, with co-ops and condos going for millions without breaking a sweat. And of course, the cost of everything else has been fine-tuned to the exact last penny you own. That night out, that's at least $100. And you'll probably have to do McDonald's for dinner. The subway? Don't even start. In New York City, even stepping outside feels like a financial commitment, but hey, at least you're living the dream, right? Now, in New York City, the real estate is a little bit different. You have a lot of apartments, condos, duplexes, triplexes, all that good stuff. More than any other place. So their price for their homes is a lot higher than it shows here. So what do you get for that kind of money? Rats, overpopulation, and really good pizza. Their crime isn't as bad as they want you to believe. It's only 24% above the national average. That is not bad. But the rent is 97% above the national average, and the average home value is $757,000. Number 4, Honolulu, Hawaii. Honolulu is on a tropical island, in case nobody told you. It's in Hawaii, and Hawaii is a tropical island. And you know what? Tropical island life is expensive. If you thought the price of food was high on the mainland, wait till you see the markup of groceries here. Everything from milk to electricity is astronomically priced thanks to the cost of import goods. Rent is just as brutal, with beachfront properties only affordable to vacationers and tech investors. Locals are left juggling 2-3 jobs just to make ends meet. You want to buy a home here? You better have $1 million for a fixer-upper. Property taxes may seem reasonable, but paired with an inflated cost of living, fees on everything, and tourist pricing everywhere, it becomes clear that paradise is just another pricey zip code with great sunsets. So what do you get here? You get too many tourists, overcrowded beaches unless you're a real local and you know the great spots, and you get a bunch of homeless people. Rent in Honolulu is about 67% above the national average, and the average home value is about $791,000. Number 3, Los Angeles. Los Angeles, where millionaires have a rough time paying rent. Between the state income tax, high sales tax, and parking fines that feel like highway robbery, living here is like entering a financial black hole. Rent prices hit astronomical levels, and that's if you can even find a place. The real estate market is bolstered by sky-high property taxes, and a modest blue-collar home costs the same as owning a lake house with a private lake in Iowa. And then there's the cost of commuting. Owning a car is brutal in Los Angeles. Not as bad as New York City, but pretty bad. Los Angeles has some of the highest gas prices in the country, and most of the time, you're stuck in traffic, idling away that expensive gas. At least you got sunshine and the beach, right? Well, not so much. Like so many other coastal cities, getting to the beach is an adventure in itself. Finding parking is expensive if you could find parking, but at least you get to go onto the beach free. Trust me, if they could find a way to charge you for a beach pass, they would. So what do you get for all that money in Los Angeles? Well, you get traffic, which is legendary, homelessness, and a lot of extra taxes that most places don't have. The average rent in Los Angeles is 63% above the national average, and the average home value is $950,000. Number 2, San Francisco, California. The only thing shocking about this one is it's not number 1, which should tell you number 1 might be alarming. San Francisco's steep price goes way back beyond the gold rush levels. With the cost of living making it nearly impossible for the average resident to stick around, rents here have achieved legendary status, making even tiny apartments out of reach for those not cashing tech giant paychecks. Taxes are no laughing matter here either, just like Los Angeles, especially the sales tax like we've already discussed. It's brutal. You want to buy a home in San Francisco? You better have CEO in your job description. The median home price here sits well over $1 million. By the way, that home is nothing special. San Francisco essentially taxes its residents on the privilege of being close to the tech industry and then charges you more to live near a decent view. What do you get for all that? Well, you get some crime, homelessness, which everybody knows about San Francisco's homelessness, and of course you got to deal with tech bros. If you don't know what a tech bro is, it's obnoxious dudes that make too much money and they're 30 years old and they think they run the world. They don't yet. One of them might, but not yet. The rent in San Francisco is 112% above the national average, and the average home value here is $1.2 million. All right, before we get to number 1, if you're thinking about moving to one of these cities and you got the money for it, there's a link for Home and Money in the description area below. They can get you in touch with a real estate agent anywhere in the United States. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, San Jose, California. Yep, just down the road from San Francisco, you got San Jose. This is a city that could single-handedly fuel hundreds of thousands of cost of living complaints every single year. The Silicon Valley nearby, San Jose, started jacking up prices years ago on everything from a diet soda to avocado toast to your home. The housing market is climbing so fast it could probably make the Kessel Run in 15 parsecs. It is so expensive here it's forced most residents to either rent or commute for hours just to get to their jobs somewhere around San Jose. In addition to the hefty sales tax, San Jose boasts an incredibly high cost of living on all fronts, with grocery bills and dining out hitting absurd prices. Moving out is cheaper than surviving on what you make here. Yet somehow the city keeps filling up. It is the undisputed champ when it comes to financially draining the residents, with no sign of giving up the crown anytime soon. So what do you get for all that money? Well, you get homeless and you get traffic, and you're not even close enough to the beach to make it worth it. The rent in San Jose is 135% above the national average, and the average home value is $1.4 million. That's rough. All right, that's today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you'll probably enjoy one of the 2 videos being suggested right now. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.